Welcome to the first lecture of Mechanics of Solid. Mechanics of Solid. In today's lecture, we will start with trusses. So, trusses are basically in your subject. Trusses are in two modules. In first module, and the other part is in other modules. So, what we are going to do, we will cover both the portion at one place only. Okay, so we will cover the whole truss here itself. Okay, so let us start. So what are trusses? Trusses are basically structural member like beams, like columns, like slabs. Okay, so like them, they are also they are also a kind of structural component. Okay, but how they are different from beams? Okay, they are different because they trusses transfer the load using the axial force. Okay, so wherever you see truss, the inside of the truss, the mechanism by which a truss transfers the force or transfers the load is the process in which only axial force flows inside the member. Okay, what does that mean? Only axial force exists inside the member of trusses. Okay, so this is one of the picture that is shown here for truss. You can see this is some industrial area over which the roof is covered with the truss. Everything is made of trusses. Everything is truss. Okay, you might have seen this in railway stations also. So there is a wide application of trusses, but here in this subject we are more interested in like how to solve them, how to calculate the value of forces which is there inside any particular member. Okay, so next is component of truss. So how truss is made of? So basically truss is made of two components. Okay, basically truss is made of two components. First component is called member, second component is called joint. Okay, so what is member? So if this is a truss, so this bar or this wooden piece is nothing but member. This wooden bar is nothing but member. Okay, this portion of wood is also a member. This portion is also a member. This portion is also one member. This portion is another member. This portion is another member. Okay, so all these wooden piece or okay, all this one bar is a one member. Okay, what is joint? Joint is where two members are connected is called joint. Okay, see this member is connected at this point. Okay, at this point, and this point is nothing but your joint. Here three members are connected at one point, so this point is nothing but your joint. See here two members are connected at this point. This point is called joint. Okay. Similarly, at this point, all this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these 5 members are connected at this point, and this particular point is called your joint. So basically, the component is only two. One is member or it is joint. Okay. So this classification or this component classification is based on how you do the analysis of the structure. Okay. So moving ahead. So another question you may ask that where do I use these trusses? So the answer is you can use truss anywhere, wherever you require them. This is a general statement. Now, if you want to see this, so you can, and as we saw in the first slide, that it was used in industrial area. Okay, so you can see that in industrial working space, trusses are very famous, or mostly they use truss only, because it is easy to make a truss system than a beam system. Okay, no casting is required. You just have to take two rods, you have to weld them or bolt them. It is very faster way to construct or to erect a truss system. Okay, so it is, since it is very faster, and anytime you can open the trusses. Okay, anytime you can break the structure and you can collect all the members, and you can take, you can keep them in a truck and you can transport it to some other places. So that is why trusses are also very useful when you are trying to make temporary structure. Okay, where you want to make structure for a shorter duration of time. Okay, let us say if you are making 8 floor building. Okay, now while making, you go to that place and you see that you have to live somewhere before you start making that building. Okay, so where will you live? There is no place for you, so you will make a temporary structure. Okay, so at those temporary structure, trusses can be used, and mostly people uses in those kind of situation. There can be multiple situation where you can use them. So trusses are very much useful when you want to make temporary structures. Okay. Another thing that I have listed here is trusses can be used as a substitute for beam. Okay, so when you don't want to make a permanent concrete beam, so in those places also you can use trusses. Okay, so other than this, there can be many other places where trusses can be used. It just depends that where you require them or not. Okay, moving ahead. So now we are here more. We are focused about how we do analysis of the trusses. We are not bothered about what are trusses and how they are made and where to use. This kind of question we are not interested right now. Right now we are interested in how to do the analysis of the structure. Okay, so what do you mean by analysis? Sorry. So we are more interested in the analysis part. So what do you mean by analysis? So analysis basically means that you have to calculate what is the value of force or what is the value of stress inside any particular member or inside any particular structural component. Okay, example कि बीम के अंदर कितना स्ट्रेस है, ये कैलकुलेट करना क्या है, एनालिसिस है. ट्रस के अंदर कितना फोर्स है, ये एनालिसिस करना क्या है आपका, ये कैलकुलेट करना क्या है आपका एनालिसिस कहलाता है. ठीक. सिमिलरली बीम के अंदर या शाफ्ट के अंदर कितना टॉर्शन आ रहा है, ओके, ये कैलकुलेट, उसकी वैल्यू कैलकुलेट करना क्या कहलाता है आपका एनालिसिस कहलाता है. तो राइट नाउ हम जिस चीज पे इंटरेस्टेड हैं, जो हम करना चाहते हैं, जो आपके इस सब्जेक्ट के स्कोप में है, वो क्या है आपका एनालिसिस. सो व्हेन यू स्टार्ट एनालिसिस ऑफ अ ट्रस, some assumption are made. Okay, some assumption are made. first assumption is written as all the load must be applied only at the joint. What does this means? Let us say if this is a truss, okay, let us say if this is some truss, so this is some truss. So when you are going to apply load on this truss, what will happen? You are forced to apply load only at joint. Okay, you cannot apply load here. You cannot apply load here. Why you can't apply load here? Because in trusses, if this is a truss member, okay, so there can't be bending, there can't be torsion, there can't be any shear. There should be only axial force. There should be only axial force. या तो उसके अंदर axial compression होगा या तो उसके अंदर axial tension होगा, दो में से एक ही होगा. तो अगर आप लोड इस तरीके से लगाते हैं तो ये जो मेंबर है आपका क्या हो जाएगा? इस तरीके से बैंड हो जाएगा. और बैंड का मतलब क्या है कि इसके अंदर क्या आ रहा है? बेंडिंग हो रहा है या बेंडिंग मोमेंट आ रहा है, जो ट्रस का डेफिनेशन ही नहीं है. ठीक है, तो आप लोड कभी भी मेंबर के ऊपर ट्रसेस में नहीं लगा सकते. अगर आप लगाएंगे तो क्या होगा? ट्रस बैंड कर जाएगा और जिस पर्पस के लिए आपने ट्रस बनाया है वो आपका फेल कर जाएगा. ठीक है, तो आप हमेशा क्या करते हैं? लोड जो लगाते हैं वो कहाँ लगाते हैं? ट्रस के जॉइंट्स पे. व्हाट इज नेक्स्ट assumption? All the members should be straight. So ये जो आप ट्रस देख रहे हैं, इसके सारे मेंबर्स जो हमने दिखाए हैं वो क्या है? परफेक्टली स्ट्रेट लाइन है या परफेक्टली स्ट्रेट है. अगर आप मेंबर इस तरीके से ना रखकर क्या करेंगे? अगर आप ऐसा कर्व मेंबर ले लेंगे तो क्या होगा? आप जॉइंट पे अगर आप लोड लगाएंगे तो भी क्या होगा? ये मेंबर क्या हो जाएगा? बैंड करेगा. ये कर्व्ड पोर्शन क्या होगा? फर्दर बैंड करेगा. और चूंकि मेंबर में बेंडिंग आ जाएगा, दैट मीन्स वो ट्रस का पर्पस सर्व नहीं करेगा. ओके, इसलिए आपको जरूरी है कि आपका मेंबर क्या हो? एक स्ट्रेट मेंबर हो या एक स्ट्रेट रॉड हो. ठीक, is it okay? So moving ahead, so next is how or what method will you pick to analyze a truss, or how will you solve a truss? How will you calculate forces inside the truss? So there can be a number of methods to do this, but I have listed only two. That is, sorry. So I have listed only two. The first one is method of joint and method of section. The first one is method of joint and method of section. So I have also given a few points that when to use which method. Okay, basically when you go to a real situation, when you have a real truss which is huge in length and there is a large quantity of members are there, so it is very clumsy or lengthy task to calculate forces. Okay, so you have to pick the right method to solve the truss. Okay, so when you are smart enough, you should use the combination of both methods. Okay, when you do practice and you will realize that when to use which method. So when you understand or when you develop a feeling that at this point of time I should use this method, or at this particular point of question I should go to this method. Okay, so this comes by practice. Okay, So what other point is, so I have also listed here that if you are going to use a method of joint for as a single method, so you will realize that this method is very easy. Okay, it is simple fixed techniques are there, or fixed steps are there. If you have to just follow those steps and you will calculate the forces. Okay, but since it is very simple and but it is also very lengthy process, so you will require to do a lot of calculation when you will be doing method of joint. But when you solve antitrust by the using this method of section, you will realize that comparatively at few steps will vanish as compared to method of joint. You will be able to calculate and you will be able to solve the truss and while you will be able to solve the truss with lesser number of steps or with lesser calculation as method of joint. Okay, so method of section can be very good there when you want to save your time, but it is a tricky method. Okay. Also another importance is, suppose if there is a whole truss and if you want to know that what is the value of force in one member, okay, in any one member. Okay, you say that at this particular point, for example, suppose this is a truss system and I will ask, okay, just give me the answer that what is the value of forces in this member. Okay, if I will ask what is the value of force in only this member, okay, I'm just asking that only one member. Now you don't want to solve all the truss, you just want answer for this. Now in such situations, method of section will be very helpful to you. Okay, so these things you will realize once you will practice a multiple questions. Okay, this will come to you after some practice. Okay, so the 3 points I have already covered. Let's move ahead. So another important tool that I should say is Lami's theorem. So you should have another important tool is Lami's theorem. You might have studied in engineering mechanics. So Lami's theorem will also help you to solve the truss in a very faster way, or you will be able to solve the trusses in very quick, short of calculation or short of time. Okay, so let us see what is Lami's theorem. Let us revise. So what Lami's theorem says that if there are system of 3 forces, okay, so 3 forces has to be there, F2, F3 and F1. So what does this mean? That Lami's theorem is applicable only where there are 3 set of forces, okay, or 3 forces. So it says that if 3 forces F1, F2, F3 is acting at one point, okay, at one point, then the relation between F1, F2 and F3 can be established. Okay, how it can be established? It is given in the theorem. So it says that F1 divided by the angle sine of alpha. Alpha is angle opposite to F1. and this fraction is equal to f2 divided by sine of beta, which is beta is opposite to f2. Okay, this fraction is also equal to f3 divided by sine gamma, f3 divided by sine of angle opposite to the force. So this Lami's theorem will also become very handy for you when you want to solve a truss in a very short calculation. Okay, so we will solve the truss in next lecture. Okay, thank you very much.